beautiful. Oh.
From soft close shower doors and adjustable shower heads to features like grab bars and custom seats that combine safety and style, it's never been easier. Get your free design consultation, schedule your one-day installation, and start loving your new bath or shower right away.
Call or go online right now. We are waiving all installation costs and offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-384-4402. Call now.
I've been on my knees in prayer. And I know that there are Jamaicans here praying for us, Jamaicans overseas praying for us, but more than that, it would appear that the entire world is praying for Jamaica. I've gotten so many calls from leaders from all over the world, in particular CARICOM leaders, who are all praying for Jamaica.
Right now on Fox Weather, major Hurricane Melissa is on track to deliver a catastrophic blow to the island nation of Jamaica. The intensity of this storm has entered historic territory. The monster Category 5 could bring feet of rain tonight. That's before it makes its expected landfall tomorrow morning. Melissa exploded in strength over the weekend, growing from a tropical storm on Saturday to now the third Category 5 of the season. Only the second season on record with 3 Cat 5s, joining the notorious 2005 season. The storm is so intense, hurricane hunters were forced to abort a mission due to extreme turbulence. And down on the ground, evacuations have been ordered as an intense, life-threatening storm surge up to 13 feet at the coast, and landslides inland could cut off communities for days or even weeks. The National Hurricane Center urging people at this point not to leave their safe shelter until the storm has passed. We've got crews on the ground in Jamaica, and Fox Weather hurricane specialist Brian Norcross standing by as Melissa closes in. We just got that 5 p.m. advisory from the NHC. We'll break that down right now on Fox Weather Now. Hey, good Monday afternoon, everybody. Thank you, as always, for being here with us on Fox Weather. Right now, it's 5 o'clock on the East Coast, 2 p.m. out west. I'm Ian Oliver, and this is Fox Weather Now. This is Category 5 major Hurricane Melissa starting to make that turn off to the north. The National Hurricane Center actually noted that in their new discussion that just came out at 5 p.m. Tropical storm conditions, at least gusts, those have started in Kingston. We're not expecting this to move on shore, an official landfall, until somewhere middle of tomorrow morning, call it 8, 9 a.m., as the slow motion of the storm brings it in that direction. Winds are at 175 miles per hour, motion northwest at just 3 miles per hour, and that minimum central pressure unchanged at 906 millibars. All right, let's get into that new advisory. We'll bring in Fox Weather hurricane specialist Brian Norcross. Brian, we got an update to the alerts. No big changes here at all. And reading a little bit of the discussion, it looks like they're in between hurricane hunter flights, right? They had the one earlier that had to bail out, extreme turbulence. We've got another one. Looks like the plane is from Lakeland, the NOAA hurricane hunters, just south of the Keys.
Yeah, so the NOAA plane was the one earlier that ran through the extreme turbulence in the southwestern high wall. They got back okay, so good news there, but there was video out of the plane, and the plane dropped about 500 feet. It was pretty exciting there for the folks on the plane there for a moment. But anyway, all is okay there, and now new planes are going in, so we are in a gap right now. Excuse me, been a long day of talking about Melissa. We are in a gap right now between hurricane hunter planes, but we'll get more later on. And yes, Melissa could be stronger when they get there later on. There's no obvious issues with the satellite. 175 miles per hour is the estimate of the top sustained winds. That means gusts well over 200 miles per hour in this storm. 906 pressure, that's down in the top 10 ever measured pressure range, and northwest now at 3 miles an hour. There you can see it's made the turn, beginning to make that turn, and it's going to be a sharp turn up toward southwestern Jamaica. Excuse me. Let's take a look at the radar. I'm a little surprised the radar is still working because we're not getting anything on the website out of Kingston. I don't know whether they've lost internet or what exactly has happened. Ian, take it 1 second, would you please? And I'll be right back.
Yeah, no question, Brian. It has been a long day of coverage, no question. So Brian talking about what's happening on Jamaican radar. And when we get Brian back, we'll talk about what's happening within the core of that. So here it is. He mentioned the data kind of going in and out. He had also mentioned that Melissa may be stronger when that next recon flight arrives. I'll be curious to know some indications that inner core is so intense, but there's an outer ring. It sounds like we got Brian back. Wanted to get your thoughts on that, Brian. That outer ring, and the NHC noted that maybe in the next 12 to 24 hours, an eyewall replacement cycle could happen. Is it too late at this point to bring down those top winds in any considerable way?
Well, it might bring down the winds, but the thing is, remember, the cycle is it starts strong, it expands out, it gets weaker, and then it gets stronger again and begins to shrink. So it might go to that series of I wonder what happened to my graphics there. That was interesting. I think, let's tell you what, let me get off the radar because we do have that connection problem down to Jamaica now. But what happens is it's relatively small, a new one forms, it expands and gets bigger, the storm gets bigger, and then it shrinks again. That's the whole cycle, and gets strong again. So it goes through a weaker growing phase. So it could do that between now and the time it makes landfall. It's running out of time, though, to do the whole thing and get strong again by the time it gets there. So odds are Category 4, strong Category 4 or Category 5 at landfall. Okay, here's where we are right now. Some tropical storm force winds over Jamaica. That's what the yellow is indicating. These are hurricane force gusts and hurricane force sustained here. So a lot of places in Jamaica have no wind at all because it's blocked by the mountains. So it just depends on the direction that the wind is coming. All right, let's go forward in time. Here we are tomorrow morning. This is nominally 2 a.m. And you see there's the hurricane force winds. The super strong winds are in a smaller area like that, and it's clear the direction it's going. It's going up into that southwestern part of Jamaica. So it's still Category 5 in their estimate at that time. Then we get up to 8 a.m., so just before landfall, you can see with the center off here, looks like landfall 8 a.m., 9 a.m., maybe 9 or 10 Eastern time, 8 or 9 Jamaica time tomorrow. So at least the sun will be up when all this stuff starts flying around. It's a good idea to have sunlight so you can see what's going on. In the vicinity of Black River, which is a town there, a significant town down on the coast. It's kind of a port down there, and a resort area called Treasure Beach just below Black River seems to be right in the center of this thing, and the city of Mandeville, which is 2,000 feet up as well. So this is just very, very bad for this area right here. I hope nobody stays where the water can come down from the mountain or the wind can get them. It's really daunting. Then 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, you see it moving across the island. Again, hurricane force winds here, including into Montego Bay. 1 to 3 foot of storm surge there. But this is the onshore side. And somewhere in here, if the core is like this, somewhere in here there's going to be a swath that's going to be like a tornado. It's just going to take out the trees for a significantly wide, like a big wide tornado. Just think about it. If the winds are 175, the gusts are over 200, that's an EF5 tornado. So this is really, really extreme. And then moving away by tomorrow evening, the winds are going to let up over by after sunset tomorrow. There you see hurricane force gusts still in the Ocho Rio area tomorrow night. All right, so there are the forecasts. So a very, very high confidence that it's going to move into the Black River area in western Jamaica. The Mandeville will be on the right side of it here. Ocho Rios will be on the right side of that track. That's the strong side. Going to be driving water into the coast here, and this is going to be extraordinarily dangerous all along there and in that corridor going over the island. There you see the Google lines, or the concentration of them is here. So very high confidence this is where it's going. The core of it is not coming to Kingston, but Kingston will be aware of it because of two reasons. One is, first of all, the water is going to get pushed ashore here, so the tide is going to be higher than normal. Now, whether it's going to be high enough to endanger the airport and so forth, that is an open question, because you have two things going on. You have the fresh water coming down and you have the storm surge coming in. Right now, it's a little bit of optimism for the storm surge side of that in Kingston. But from here, Portland Point over, this is the very bad place. A lot of this is a nature coast kind of thing until you get over a little bit farther to the west. There isn't a whole lot down at that coast. And the rain will pile up. So remember where the storm was forecast to move in. It's something like this, right? You can see where the rain is forecast over that higher elevation. Purple's up in the multiple feet range. And this is all going to happen tomorrow and into the next day. So this is like torrential, continuous rain over those mountains that all has to drain down to the sea. You see another mountain over here. When we look at Jamaica, you can see how much of that island is mountainous. There's that big open area there where the metropolitan Kingston area is, but you see Mandeville up there surrounded by mountains. And then on the other side, that moisture comes in this way, and then it's up against the mountains, and it still has to drain out into the Caribbean. So it's going to take time for that to happen, but throughout, all across Jamaica, they're going to be dealing with potential flooding rain from this tremendous amount of rain falling up the mountain. And then it goes on to Cuba, and they have a significant storm surge and a significant hurricane threat there in Guantanamo in the eastern provinces of Cuba, and also a hurricane warning in effect for the central and southeastern Bahamas, tropical storm warning in effect for the Turks and Caicos Islands. And then we'll see about Bermuda. Looks like early Friday, maybe, when the storm is there, passing by quickly, but it's going to be much larger. So it's going to be hard for all of it to miss Bermuda, but hopefully not the core of it. Hopefully that will go on by. Seems like Bermuda is attracting hurricanes here lately, and one more here for the end of hurricane season. All right, Ian, back to you.
Yeah, I think we can probably safely say that at this point, right? One more. It has been a bit of a tropical system magnet, but great analysis, Brian. We know that this is going to be a scary situation moving through the next couple of days. We'll be leaning on you. We'll be checking back. That's Fox Weather hurricane specialist Brian Norcross. Thanks.
Okay.
After Melissa slams into Jamaica tomorrow morning, it has its eyes set on Cuba. That'll be a second landfall expected tomorrow night. We'll time it all out for you. We'll bring you the latest when Fox Weather Now comes right back.
Texas, you can't do fall without Ford. The best deals of the season are at your Texas Ford dealer right now. Hurry in today. Drive F-150 with $3,900 for $72 plus $3,250 bonus cash. Only at your best in Texas Ford dealer.
Your upgrade is ready, Miss Langley.
My upgrade?
Enjoy.
See y'all later. Enjoy a $500 credit for stays with the edit. Chase Sapphire Reserve.
Clorox Toilet Wand all-in-one clean. Surprisingly easy. Clean feels good.
Keep it down! Listen, I am trying to... International Delight? You hate plain coffee too?
Ugh, but I love caramel macchiato.
Me too. We should hang out more.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hey!
Hey, girl! Woo, this place is cute!
We hate plain coffee too.
Hey, welcome back to Fox Weather Now. Monster Hurricane Melissa, it's bearing down on Jamaica. You're looking up at the Fox Weather alert system. We did get that 5 p.m. update in. Also, some of those storms down in Florida that we've been watching for you. And we went through those with Fox Weather hurricane specialist Brian Norcross, the 5 p.m. advisory, at least from the National Hurricane Center. We did get an update to the tropical alerts, a hurricane warning issued for parts of the Bahamas. And then we've also got a tropical storm warning up for the Turks and Caicos. This is how we arrived here. Explosive, a rapid intensification, truly, that occurred over the weekend. Saturday morning, 11 a.m., this was a tropical storm. Winds at 70 miles per hour. Getting its structure together, 12 hours later, this was a major hurricane. And then by Sunday morning, a Category 4 storm up to 140 miles per hour, maximum sustained winds. And then into this morning, 5 a.m., becomes a Category 5, 160, and it's gotten even stronger since then. Let's talk about how this all plays out. Rapid intensification, the criteria, 35 miles per hour increase in 24 hours. We blew that out this go around. It was more like 70 miles per hour in 18 hours. That is extreme rapid intensification, and it even exceeded that by a considerable margin. The 5 p.m. advisory, you don't see a whole lot here outside of that subtle shift. The turn to the north is happening. Part of the reason why we haven't had a lot of new information over the past few hours was that extreme turbulence that occurred with the NOAA flight this morning. They had to head back. There's a plane en route to the storm right now from Lakeland. In fact, we can show you that. This is the NOAA Hurricane Hunters. So atop of the screen, you go up to Lakeland Linder Field. That's the home of the NOAA Hurricane Hunters. They should be in the storm in about an hour. So we'll be looking for some of that data to come in. Leaving from, actually, we have it. There it is. It's just entering bottom of the screen, bottom right. That's the Air Force, the United States Air Force. They're coming from Curacao. They're also heading into, shout out to Steph, a little assist, moving the overall camera picture, showing us they're headed toward, they're closing in on Melissa from two separate flanks. So that's two flights that'll tell us a lot about what's going on under the hood here. This may be a stronger storm. That possibility is there, at least in through here. Super intense inner core of Melissa. This is a top end, an upper echelon hurricane, no question. Strongest of the season, a top 10 storm on record, the whole thing, with that minimum central pressure down to 906 millibars. But the National Hurricane Center, this data has been going out, easy to understand connectivity issues out of Jamaica right now, but this is their meteorological services radar. It may be, and the Hurricane Center noted that there's an outer eye wall starting to form. That would be the beginning of an eye wall replacement cycle, which could briefly weaken the top end winds, but it would expand the size of that overall wind field and then start to get stronger again. That's a process that can take anywhere from 12 to 24 hours or more like 24 to 48 hours. So we'll watch that. We've seen gusts up over 40 miles per hour already in Kingston. Conditions will worsen considerably moving through this evening, especially the overnight hours ahead of a landfall, which we're expecting to be about mid-morning tomorrow. That storm surge east of the center of circulation up to about 13 feet.
While we must prepare for the worst, let us also pray for the best. In every adversity, we have found strength, not only in our resilience, but in the power of prayer. So wherever you are, I encourage you to gather your family and pray for protection, for calm, and for each other, trusting that God, who has seen Jamaica through every storm, will carry us safely through this one too.
Yeah, that's the message right there from the Prime Minister of Jamaica. This is as worst as we've seen. It's a live look from Kingston, Jamaica. Off in the distance, you would see the coastal areas. Visibility is down. There's rain moving in. You could see that bay, the harbor in there, is now starting to get all churned up. So that's spinning around. I was going to see if this gave us a better vantage point, but you get the idea right there in Kingston Harbor, which is typically tranquil. Conditions are starting to worsen. This is only the very, very beginning. It's unfortunately going to get a lot worse, very dangerous into the overnight hours, right on through the day tomorrow. Beyond all that, those hazards shift up to Cuba, eastern Cuba. We got that hurricane warning that's up. This will be into Wednesday morning. The pace of this has slowed down maybe just a touch with this new update from the National Hurricane Center. That is still a well-formed major hurricane as it goes barreling into southeastern parts of Cuba. There's very high terrain there. You'll see that in just a moment. And that's going to be a significant issue, a problem, as we head into that aspect of the storm. We did get the hurricane warnings expanded north up into the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. You got a tropical storm warning up. So here's our Fox weather model. You see the timing of all of this with a landfall happening mid-morning. Its first landfall there in western parts of Jamaica. From there, course directly for eastern parts of Cuba. That should happen either overnight or into Wednesday morning now. By the latter part of Wednesday morning, emerging off the northern shores of eastern Cuba and heading up through the Bahamas, bringing with it what's expected to be hurricane conditions there. So that's all the way into Wednesday evening. We got a ways to go here. Huge numbers for rain in eastern Cuba. You've got somewhere between a foot and a half, maybe up to 2 feet of rain. We could exceed that in some of the high terrain, of which there is a lot in this part of Cuba. We talked about with that jog off to the west. That was a better solution, not a good one. There are huge hazards, very, very dangerous storm for all of Jamaica, and that includes the capital. The core looks to move on shore in western Jamaica, where those mountains are more like 2,000 to 3,000 feet, higher terrain over on the opposite side of the island. That won't be the case right here in Cuba, where there are peaks up to 6,500 feet. That mountainous terrain will disrupt the core of Melissa some, but it also squeeze out a lot of moisture. And with that, it goes rushing via gravity down into the valleys. Landslides become a significant concern, flash flooding, and that's part of the reason why there's just these huge numbers for rain possible there. You saw the wind field moving its way across that part of Cuba. Look at the peak wind gust forecast. This is from our exclusive Fox weather model. Santiago de Cuba are right there on the southern coastline. Wherever that core moves ashore, and especially the right side of it, the advancing side, we could easily see wind gusts in excess of 100 miles per hour. So that's going to be an especially dangerous aspect of the storm, too. You've got a surge that happens on the northwestern shores of Jamaica. That'll be the backside of the storm, pushing some water into the coastline. But look at this for Cuba. That's a surge of up to 12 feet. I believe from the NHC, it's up to about 11 feet in those places. So you've got water rushing down out of the high terrain, water being pushed at coastal areas at sea level into the shoreline. That has to come up with the surge, very much like what's going to play out in Jamaica. We've got life-threatening hazards across the board. The wind, the rain generating flooding, the surge at the coast, all are especially impactful and dangerous. All right, let's head back north to the eastern United States, where we've got another storm to be looking out for. This, as we get a little bit closer to Halloween, a storm that's going to bring some impacts to some places that have seen rain already today, and then more up into the northeast. And that could linger into Halloween. I think more so for the first part of it. It's All Hallows Eve where we have the issue. Talking about Thursday. So here we go. A storm moves out of the plains, mid-south, the Ohio Valley, the mid-Atlantic, and then up into the northeast. Heavy rain and some strong winds. For the mid-Atlantic and the northeast, it looks like Thursday will be the worst day, as an area of high pressure that's up in Canada, up over Quebec, holds that storm down to the south. That ridge breaks down, and all of a sudden that storm system starts moving off to the north and east, right over the Ohio River into the Appalachians on Thursday. Look at the south wind here. That's important. Not that there's going to be a direct relationship between these storms, but this is Friday. That's what we're expecting to still be a Category 1 hurricane in Melissa. You look at the shape of the wind field, that lofts up a bunch of moisture off to the north. Some of that gets picked up or scooped up by the dip in the jet stream, the southerly winds, and that could enhance. You notice the close approach here, coastal areas in Massachusetts, Boston out to Cape Cod, the islands, New Hampshire, and Maine. That may enhance some of the rain rates and add to the overall totals, something that we'll be watching for any changes moving through the next few days. Big swath, though, all that green, 1 to 2 inches of rain from the Mississippi all the way to the mid-Atlantic. Here's the process of that with the Fox weather forecast. Soggy day on Wednesday. Wednesday night, early Thursday, all of these areas will be on the lookout for at least some isolated flash flooding. Level 1 out of 4 from the Weather Prediction Center, but it's there. And then farther off to the north and east, we've got more issues. I think by Halloween proper, come Friday, it'll more so be northern parts of New England and coastal areas, down East Maine this way, that will be hanging on to some of that wet weather. Fox Weather is your hurricane HQ. Melissa, it's a monster at this point, and it's got its eyes set on Jamaica. Category 5 hurricane expected to bring catastrophic impacts. The island finishing preps, those need to be done, awaiting for this storm to roar on shore. We're bringing you the latest when Fox Weather Now returns.
Weather reporting is a contact sport. The elements are harsh. The impacts can be unpredictable and devastating. I'm Robert Ray, and traversing America, reporting in the harshest conditions and telling the stories of survivors and first responders is my passion. Fox Weather, for all seasons, for all America.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine like Google, but it's private and doesn't spy on your searches. And DuckDuckGo lets you browse like Chrome, but it blocks cookies and creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And there's no catch. It's free. We make money from ads, but they don't follow you around. Join the millions of people taking back their privacy by downloading DuckDuckGo on all your devices today.
When you have your own land, it can be nice to have some help every once in a while.
Are you kids ready?
Yeah.
That's why we built the easy-to-operate Mahindra 2100 series. It's tougher and smarter than anything else out there. With intuitive tech and best-in-class lift capacity, we've made it easier than ever to tick off your toughest to-dos and be ready for whatever comes next.
Thanks for doing this, Dad.
Mahindra, out working the field.
Get 0% for 84 months or up to $4,000 cash back on the Mahindra 1100 and 2100.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Never mind. Where there's a want, there's a way. Toasted, shaken, bubbled and torn. Arise from the darkness, a cocktail is born.
Chex Party Mix. Mix up delicious holiday memories with
Snoopy, Charlie Brown,
and the rest of the gang. Sharing that holiday feeling with Chex never gets old.
Ted, Charlie, Alex,
Ron, Mark,
Michael!
All these things work good together. Yeah!
Ooh.
All these things work good together. That's right. All these things work good together.
Good together.
Hey, welcome back to Fox Weather Now. Thanks for being here. Bottom of the hour. I'm Ian Oliver. As we continue to watch this beast of a hurricane, this is a top echelon hurricane at this point. We know that its minimum central pressure, 906 millibars, puts it as a top 10 storm on record anywhere in the Atlantic at any point in the season. So this is a serious storm that we're talking about on approach to the western half of Jamaica, a landfall that we're expecting tomorrow morning. The storm, the hurricane force winds extend out about 30 miles. The tropical storm force winds more like a couple hundred. Winds are at 175 miles per hour. We got that 5 p.m. advisory in from the NHC. The motion is painfully slow. So as this crawls toward the coastline this evening, tonight, and crawls across Jamaica during the day tomorrow, it's an extended duration of all these catastrophic impacts. Let's head to Jamaica. Got a live look over Kingston Harbor. There we go. That's slightly better visibility than last time we saw this, but you can see the low cloud deck, the rain that's moving through. We've had tropical storm force winds there already, and it'll only worsen as we move forward through the next several hours, overnight and tomorrow. The island expecting in spots, it'll be farther off to the west of this camera, but a catastrophic storm surge as high as 13 feet. That's right at the immediate coastline. The water rise over normally dry ground at high tide. Terrifying to have that kind of forecast from the NHC. This is expected to be the most powerful storm in Jamaica's recorded history. Robert Ray is in Kingston with a look at the conditions ahead of Melissa's landfall.
Greetings from Kingston, Jamaica, capital city. We were just off the phone with our executive team in New York, and this is the hotel hallway. One of the rooms that we have here, we've been doing some broadcasting this morning from the balcony, and Pete, our photojournalist, is breaking down because we are about to make a move out of Kingston. Come out here if you can. Jared Maloney, meteorologist, field producer behind the lens. Thank you, Pete. We have a lot of gear here. And actually, can you show just all the gear? Pete is doing an incredible job. What it takes to put all this transmission together, and then all the food and supplies. We have a lot of packing up to do. As you see in the distance here, the mountains surrounding Kingston and some of the outer fringe bands beginning to come in. Here's the deal. We are making a move. Because of the track of Hurricane Melissa, Category 5 right now, it keeps running to the west, which is just remarkable. And we did not potentially expect it to go that far west. It will eventually cut to the north, make a landfall, and then head east across the island. But because of that, significant effects on the north shore of Jamaica are expected. Hurricane force winds and flooding. We have to find a location up there that is safe to broadcast from so that we can get these signals out tomorrow morning upon landfall. Landfall will be in the south, but it's going to cut up, and because of the size of it and the counter twist, all of those winds will impact those areas. And by the way, that's where all the resorts are. That's where Montego Bay Airport is. A big concern that airport may go offline, just like Kingston here. Flooding will happen here in Kingston. And you can see out here, Jared, head up right here and just give them a view. Pan this area and look at some of the clouds there in the distance, and light breeze, light rain. Nothing significant. Impacts will really begin overnight into tomorrow morning, and they will last for well over 24 hours. The actual landfall of this will cause catastrophic conditions, but then the backside, also huge problems. So we have a lot ahead of us. We're going to head up on an interstate here, and we need to scout out locations for safety, a fortified structure, a hotel that can take us in and allow us to potentially give live reports on Fox Weather and all the Fox mediums over to all of tomorrow into Wednesday. And then what do we do? If indeed we can move down some of these roadways, which are going to be compromised because of flying debris and power lines and vegetation down and no power, maybe even no communications. We will likely be heading back down here to Kingston. We'll try to cover here, we'll try to cover the north, and if we can make it to the southern shores eventually where the landfall is going to occur, we will. But some of those areas will be in such bad condition that I'm not sure that people will be able to get in and out of there for days. In the meantime, I'm going to head back into the room as we are packing up all of this gear right now. A lot of our food is in the vehicles already, and we've got a lot of work to do here in about the next coming hours. About a 3-hour drive up to the north. Godspeed, everyone here in Jamaica, including this team. Robert Ray, Pete, Jared, Fox Weather.
The sun will be up when all this stuff starts flying around. It's a good idea to have sunlight so you can see what's going on. In the vicinity of Black River, which is a town there, a significant town down on the coast. It's kind of a port down there, and a resort area called Treasure Beach just below Black River seems to be right in the center of this thing, and the city of Mandeville, which is 2,000 feet up as well. So this is just very, very bad for this area right here. I hope nobody stays where the water can come down from the mountain or the wind can get them. It's really daunting. Then 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, you see it moving across the island. Again, hurricane force winds here, including into Montego Bay. 1 to 3 foot of storm surge there, but this is the onshore side. And somewhere in here, if the core is like this, somewhere in here, there's going to be a swath that's going to be like a tornado. It's just going to take out the trees for a significantly wide, like it's like a big wide tornado. Just think about it. If the winds are 175, the gusts are over 200, that's an EF5 tornado. So this is really, really extreme.
Yeah, that's a terrifying thing to consider. So you got a live picture here from Kingston, Jamaica. You're seeing all the preps. There's almost nobody. That might be, there's 2 cars. All these folks getting to where they're going to be for the storm, because we're getting to the point where that's where you'll have to stay for the balance of this. Live picture from Kingston. Want to show you something. Steph right behind me in Weather Command was just working on this. It's something that we were talking about in the break. 5 p.m. advisory, just to point that out, 175-mile-per-hour winds. We've got hurricane hunters. The Air Force is coming from Curacao. The NOAA hurricane hunters flying down from Lakeland. They're both getting close, maybe an hour out or so. Look at what's going on here. So we've got the new forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. We talked about the deviation off to the west of this overall track. It appears as though that trend hasn't stopped just yet. So we've got the center line. Just to show you the motion, you look at the eye here. We got zoomed in on this now. It's already hugging the left side of the cone. And you saw that motion. It was a jog almost southwest. It's a wobble. That's not unusual. That's how hurricanes move, especially strong hurricanes. Trochoidal motion. It's a wobble, almost like a tire out of balance. It moves along a general path. So typically we just take across a time scale 2 positions, and then you get the net motion. But this wobble in the short term is still pulling this west, no question. We're staring at this. That is a better solution for where we were looking over in the capital, Kingston. It is a poor solution for places like Montego Bay, which are facing now a greater risk of taking the core of this storm going right overhead, with some of the conditions that Brian was talking about, describing what that would be like being in a giant tornado. This is the type of hurricane that will produce a look like that. We know these intense Category 5 winds extend out about 30 miles from the center of circulation, and it'll be the right side of the storm, the advancing side of it, that has the absolute worst of the impacts. You look at how this has played out, going back to the second half of the weekend. Saturday, this was a tropical storm. Yesterday, this became a Category 4. This morning, a Category 5. It's been in a pristine set of both atmospheric circumstances and the ocean heat content below is maxed out. Before Melissa, there hasn't been a storm in the Caribbean all season. This was the first go-around, even in the very late stages of October. This is what we were talking about. That's the NOAA hurricane hunters. They're based out of Lakeland, Florida. The United States Air Force was staged down in Curacao. Right there, you can see the origin of the flight path. They're both headed toward the core of this thing. That'll tell us a whole lot more moving through this evening once we have that data, what's happening within this storm. Now, the wind field, that's what I mentioned. The tropical storm conditions have started on Jamaica. Tomorrow morning, that core is starting to move ashore, the red in through here, which is what we were talking about with the tornado-like overall experience and the damage that's produced as such. Keep in mind, this center line here, if we extend it out something like this, this is that 5 p.m. advisory, but we just saw that the eye, its inner core, is already left. It's hugging more so the left side of the storm. And that's why I had mentioned all these western cities, places like Montego Bay. This is a worsening outlook that we're watching play out right now in real time. The storm surge, that is still going to be with a larger wind field, the tropical storm force wind, something like 200 miles, forcing water into the southern shores of Jamaica. We could see a maximum push of water up to about 13 feet. That'll be in the eye wall on the right side of it, where there's that strongest push of water into the coastline. From there, the farther west it goes, that's another consideration here. Highest peaks on Jamaica are over on the eastern half of it. Yes, we have 2,000 to 3,000 foot mountains over on the western side of Jamaica, but if this hugs a more westerly track, it'll interact a little bit less with that terrain. Stronger storm on arrival in eastern Cuba. So all of these details matter. We're going to be watching that. Both us here in studio will be checking in with our hurricane specialist, Brian Norcross, and with Robert Ray live on the ground in Jamaica. You saw the report he filed. We'll be getting back in touch with him moving on through this evening. We'll get back to Melissa in a moment. Let's take it back to the lower 48, where we've been watching some strong storms, some pockets of heavier rain down across the southeastern United States. Down in Florida, we've had a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings. They got soaked over the weekend. Over on the Tampa Bay side, a severe thunderstorm warning that included Hernando, Pasco, Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, a big chunk of the northern part of the Tampa Bay area. Now it looks like we've got a severe thunderstorm warning. That's Brevard County over on Florida's Space Coast. So yeah, there's Cape Canaveral, Merritt Island in through here. East of Orlando, that's a powerful thunderstorm moving toward I-95 right there. Titusville right there.